Hello and welcome all my reading and bullet journaling friends. Today I am so excited to be setting up my 2025 bullet journal. I cannot believe we're already in December. It is crazy that how fast this year has gone. But also I am super excited to get into a new year. This year has definitely not been the best. It's had quite a few challenges. So I'm going into 2025 full of hope and just a whole lot of determination that it's going to be a better year. And let's see if any of that actually comes true or not. Now, I'm starting off with my cover page for my journal, and I have so many regrets about this cover page. I didn't really have a plan for it, didn't really know what I was doing, created a header for the 2025 and then was like, now what? So I wish I had thought this through a bit more. I didn't really want to go and get any more supplies, so I was trying to also use what I had, and I don't think it worked. It's not really what I like. I put the 2025 in a really weird spot. It's not scented or anything like that. So yeah, just work with me on this one. I will learn from this and hopefully do better next time. But anyway, let me tell you a bit about this journal. So this is a B5 journal from Archer and Olive. And the idea behind this one is it's going to hold all of my 2025 yearly tracking things, but it's not a journal that I plan on finishing in 2025. So this one will continue throughout the years until I have completed all the pages. But it's just somewhere that I can put all the yearly trackers down in one place rather than using it in multiple journals, because I do think I will be going through at least two quarterly journals, which you'll see me put together in a few videos time, or next, depending on when you're watching this. So this one's just going to have all those start of year journal things, yearly stats. What else is there? Yearly goals is in there, as well as some reflections and things like that. So it's just saves having to write all this information out multiple times when you use multiple journals in one year. So yeah, that's the intention for this journal. As you can see, I'm going in with some washi to try and create a border. I have no clue what I was thinking when trying to do this, but I was trying to be creative. Look, I'm not mad at how it came out. It's not what I envisioned when I was thinking, let's do a celestial galaxy theme. So yeah. I like the theme moving forward. It's just the cover that I'm not happy with, and it took me a really weird amount of time to get this all done. But anyway, we're going to sit here and watch it. Now, I will say I had such a hard time then working out what I wanted to do to decorate the rest of this page. So the kit that I got was from Journal Say, and it's a nice enough set, but the colours weren't really punchy or anything like that. and there were odd shapes, and some of the items were like made out of a weird cardboardy sort of like a thicker material that I really did not want to put in my journal because I didn't want to make it too bulky. So then, yeah, I was left with some really awkward shapes and items that I was just literally, I'm just filling in white space here. Which I think is a part of what I'm not happy about, with the fact that I just felt like I was trying to cover all that white space. And that's because I went in without having a plan. So if I can recommend anything for you when you're setting up your themes, is go in with a plan, have an idea of what you actually want things to look like. You can definitely tell the difference between this page and my internal pages where I have a set layout and a set plan of what I want. It just goes so much better for me rather than this filling in blank space sort of layout. And yeah, I don't know. But it was, look, I gave it a try. You've got to live and learn, and we all start somewhere, right? This is me starting somewhere. But I'm going in with some washi stickers. So it did come with a sheet of washi stickers, and I'm just going in and filling them in. The joys about the washi stickers is that the back, except for when it's on that galaxy background, it does blend into the page a little bit. So it doesn't show up so much, and you don't have to be as accurate when cutting it out. But full regrets with that sticker on the black, because you can see everything. And you can see me struggling so much. I struggle so bad. As soon as I've got nails on, I cannot get stickers to work for me. I just struggle to peel them so badly. So you'll see lots of that coming up. But now that is down, and then I go in and put in some stars with just a blue pen, just to try and fill in that space a little bit more, just to, I don't know, tie off the page a little bit and finish it up as much as I can. Yeah, the idea was there, the thought was there, just execution. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. The thought was an 8, the execution a 5, but anyway, that's okay. Anyway, we are moving on to the internal part of this, where I definitely have a much better plan of what is going on. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting a notebook under me so that the pages can lay flat. So the hard bit about when you're at the start of the journal is the pages don't necessarily lay flat for you. Again, struggling with the tapes and the washi and trying to peel anything. But yeah, I really do like this set. I got a few sets from Journal Say that were like Stars and Galaxy, and a few of them had some silver foil ones in it, and I really like those. Half of them were gold foil, and I'm not a fan of gold as much as I am silver. But anyway, this one had, I go between autofocus or not. So this one had some of the zodiacs on it, which I really liked. So yeah, I was just putting that down and running that the entire way across the page. I do try and push it into the corner, but I believe this one I do end up going back and trying to cut it because it wasn't quite working. And as you can see, I struggle so much with laying washi tape straight. The pages aren't quite aligned, which then bugs me because I was trying to follow the dots, but it wasn't quite working. See how I'm going with this knife just to try and separate it, but I'm so scared about cutting the pages that I don't cut it enough. Things I will learn as I go along on my journaling pathway. I guess it's not really clear. Oh, sorry about my face coming into screen there. Anyway, I eventually become, I don't know if I'd say happy with it, but I get to a stage where I can deal with it. But yeah, it just doesn't quite want to line up for me. But anyway, So the page on the left that I'm setting up is my level 10 life overview page. So it's going to show all the 9 areas that I've chosen to look at of my life, and then create some goals around how to improve those, or what sort of things I want to do to improve those areas of my life. So the 9 areas that I've sort of picked, and I think they are pretty general and standard sort of areas for your level 10 life goals, is physical health. So my actual physical body and what I can do, and goals relating to fitness and health. My mental health, so obviously all the mental aspects. My home environment, so where I'm living, everything to do with my house and things like that. Finances, pretty self-explanatory. Money. Personal development, so building on my knowledge and extending my knowledge in areas, or learning different areas, different things like that. Then I've got business, so my career, my work, my businesses that I run. Then I've got my partner, and creating our partnership together and activities and goals for that. Then my family, so outside of my partner, my family and having connection with them and time with them, whether that's my immediate family or my steps as well. And then my social connections, so my friends as well. I kind of feel like partner, family, and social are very intertwined, but I want to look at them separately as well, because they're 3 different areas. Even though they're sort of similar, the way that I look at things I want to do with my partner and ensuring that, like, how that's working for me is very different to how I look at my family and the amount of time, that obviously you want to spend time with everyone, but I want to make sure that I'm dedicating more time to my partner than my family. And then there's different goals that I have for the partnership over the family. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so I'm just doing some every second line highlights for those areas, to just get that over and done with. I struggled so hard at this every second highlight. They look horrible. So much for the cheerleader effect, but yes, that does get better as I go throughout the journal, but doesn't improve too much through this journal. Certainly since then I've improved a little bit and sort of kind of worked out a little bit of what I'm doing, but for now it's okay. I don't have to look at this journal too much, I guess. Anyway, so they're all the 9 areas, and then I can go in and I'm just creating a little border on that top one, which will have the list of all 9, as well as where I currently think I am falling for those areas. So from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, where I think for each of those aspects I currently am. And then when I do this next year, I will have a previous and current area, so that I can mark down what it was in 2024 or the end of 2024, and where it is. Maybe I'll come back to this one and add another column and be like start of 2024, end of 24. Maybe that makes a bit more sense. Now that I'm thinking back on it, yeah, I might do that. But anyway, I'm going in with headers. So what I did for this journal, and for quite a few of my journal setups coming up, is I've gone and printed all my headers on washi paper. That way they're all the exact same, so the entire journal is consistent with the heading styles and fonts. And also the sizing of them is pretty consistent, which backfires when I try and do home environment that doesn't fit. Oh, that's personal development. But yes, it was too long, so I had to rearrange that. So that's something to consider for next time, that some of them do get a little bit long. And yeah, so it made it so easy having it more pre-printed, apart from the having to plan ahead, which does backfire. I think it's in this journal, that I completely forgot to print a whole lot of headers, and yeah, I had to go back, and it's frustrating because I don't want to waste a sheet. So if I forget any, then I want to make sure that I'm able to use the rest of the sheet for other things. But yes, that's the hardest thing about having it all pre-printed, is the making sure that you've got every header that you need. But yeah. Anyway, the next sheet that I have is my goal brainstorming page. So this is just an area I'm going to do Jessie Corinne's goal setting course, and that's coming up very soon, or might have already passed by the time you're watching this. But I just wanted to give myself a spot where I can be a little bit messy, I guess, and have those goals there. So next up, I am creating a little pocket. This sheet was also in that Galaxy set, and I didn't really know what to do with it. It does bug me though that it's the wrong way around, but I'm going to use it for a pocket. But apparently I'm skipping back to the previous page and putting in my header for my then and now page. So this is an idea that I've seen Jessie Corinne do, where she has a list of prompts, and then on the 1st of January she goes and writes down whatever the answers to the prompts are for that day and how she's feeling at that time, and then does it again on the 31st of December. So I'm going to do that. I've given myself 10 prompts to do. However, I don't actually believe I filmed myself putting down the prompts. I think I just created the space for it. But the prompts that I use are currently living, currently reading. Why did I not write down the rest of them? Oh, that's so bad. I know there's one for goals. There's a worried about. Oh, I want to look it up now. I'll come back to it. But anyway, I'm just putting down a border of washi tape on both sides. So for this journal, I wanted to change up how I was decorating it on each page. So I do sort of mix between having washi on the side, washi on the top and bottom, and things like that. I just don't want to make it too bulky in the one sort of area, but obviously that is going to happen a little bit, just because there's only so many places that you can put washi down in a journal and not have it be in the way. But I end up going in and doing some washi down the bottom as well for this one. And I really do like this washi, considering how cheap it was. I think it was like maybe $1 or $2. Like, it's pretty good. So I'm not complaining too much. Anyway, so I've just put that down to fill in some space, because obviously there's not going to be much there when it's just an envelope. But this is also another thing that I've seen Jess from Jessie Corinne do, is a letter to herself. So on the 1st of Jan, I want to write a letter to myself, so that I've got something to look back on the 31st when I finally get to read it. So I was tempted to put an envelope in here and like have a fully sealed envelope, but because this came with the Celestial set, I just decided to turn this into a pocket. So I've put double-sided tape on 3 out of 4 of the edges, so it just creates a little pocket space that I can slip a letter in, and then I go in and put the header in, I believe. Awkward if I don't. I had such a hard time getting things off the sheet. So just peeling off washi in general should not be that hard. And then I go back in with my scissors to clean up the edges. I really need to get a corner cutter. That's on my wish list of things to get, because trying to cut around the corners is super awkward, super difficult, and just so unnecessary. Yeah. So that blank space there is for my goals. I just haven't worked out how I want to lay that page out at all. So when I do that goal setting course, I will go back in and do the brainstorm and then fill out all my goals and at least have that done. So yeah, I will show pictures when it's completed. Same with all the pages. Once they're all done, I will then show the before the pen sort of pages and then when I start to use it as well. But I'm so excited to be setting up a proper bullet journal. I got back into bullet journaling this year, but I was sort of saving myself, and I didn't want to not do a 2024 bullet journal, but because there was only a couple of months left of the year, I didn't go to this effort. I was literally just using that blue notebook for everything. That became sort of like my brain dump bullet journal, and just housed everything in it, just so it was all in one spot. And then with the intention of that in 2025, I was going to have things set up from the start exactly how I wanted it, and have things spread out a little bit more so that everything had its place. But yes, I'm so excited to be using this. And just to clear my thoughts, I've definitely struggled this year with feeling scatterbrained and feeling like everything is in shambles and everything is just everywhere. And I think it does stem down to not having things written down, not having a place for them. There's definitely something to your environment is a reflection of your brain. And I definitely feel that my environment, whether it's the brain dump of a journal that I've got going on there or anything, like, it's just, yeah, it definitely shows what my brain is currently looking like. So next up, I'm going in and creating my 101 things to do list. So for this one, I wanted to come up with 101 things that I wanted to do in 2025. The idea behind this is it's not a list of chores. These are fun activities or activities that I've wanted to do for such a long time that I just never get around to or don't prioritize myself to do. So I'm writing them down here. It kind of gives me an excuse to go and do them. Hopefully. I'm hoping that's how I can trick myself into doing some of the things. Like, some of them are just like having a weekend away for myself or going to the hot springs on my own. I miss doing that. I used to love treating myself to go to the hot springs and just have a day all to myself. So I want to get back into doing some things like that. And whether it's like I get through 25 of these things or if I get to all 101 things, I want somewhere to put some stuff down. Some of these might be in relation to goals or things I need to get done, but I don't want them to feel like a chore. I have a future, like another spread coming up that is more of those chore tasks, and I just want to keep them separate because I don't want to turn this list into something that I don't want to look at. And I don't want to ignore it because I dread the things that are on it. But the longest thing of this is going through and doing the every second highlight for 101 things. The other thing that really annoys me is the fact that because it's 101, it's not divisible by 4. But I felt like the pages were too long to just have one line on each. I write really small. I don't need a full page for one line. So I was always going to have 2 columns going in, but it then just makes the 101th item awkwardly sitting down below the rest, but that's okay. As you can see, I try turning this around and I slowly sort of get better. The hardest part of this is filling the entire square box without going outside of it, like trying to work out the angle of the pen and the pressure that you've got to put on the pen to do that. And always the first one is the worst because you're trying to like count the rows as well and not go too far. So the first one is always the hardest on the page, but I slowly get better, maybe. Anyway, let me know if you want to see me create this list too. I don't know if I want to do it on film, like on camera, or if I'm just going to populate it. I also haven't really thought of all 101 things. I don't know whether or not to completely fill it or give myself some freedom to add to it throughout the year as well. I haven't really thought that far ahead, but there's definitely some things that I want to put on there. There's probably some things that I will put on certain dates, like the 101th item will be create 101 things to do for 2026. And probably on the 2nd, either the 2nd or the 9th, I will put like something that is a favourite of mine, just because either that's my birthday date or my favourite number. And then I think for the 18th, I will have celebrate my first year anniversary with my partner, because that's our anniversary date. So I want to make sure that we do something for our anniversary to celebrate a year of being together. So things like that. And yeah, but let me know if that's something you'd be interested in watching. I didn't realise I actually go off screen, and sorry about the lighting because you can't actually see the second line highlights, but trust me, they're there. Once I do that, I then go in and do a vertical line to indicate a spot to check off when I've done the item. The only thing I wasn't sure of is I wasn't sure if I should have gone in on the second line or in the second square and put the numbers first. I was umming and ahhing of which one I decide. So I guess I've got it this way around for this year, and if I don't like it, I can change it for next year. Yeah. But anyway, I'm just going and cleaning the pages again, wishing I had a corner cutter. So moving on to the next page is going to be a wish list sort of page and a spreads to try page. Oops. So on the left, I just wanted to give myself a spot to write down anything I think of throughout the year of things that I want, things that I need, and also have a spot for a maybe someday sort of or wish list, like, you know, the if I win Lotto and, come into sort of a thing of money that I'm not expecting. Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, so I just wanted to have a spot where I can write down those things, especially when it comes to birthdays and Christmas. I'm terrible at trying to tell people some ideas of things to get me, because I always feel bad of like, if it's not something I would spend my money on, then I don't want others to spend their money on it, or it's generally things that I don't want to spend that much, so I don't buy it for myself, that end up on my wish list, and then I feel bad about, giving people a list of things that's on the more expensive side. So hopefully this will help just create a list of random things throughout the year that I think of that I want and need. yeah, we'll see. Anyway, as you can see, I'm trying something different with some washi tape. I didn't line it up well at all, but anyway, I tried it. And you know what, that's okay. So going in with my header again for the wish list, and then adding in the other header for spreads to try. So going in with my every second highlight for this one. So I do the wants all the way up the page, and then I split the other column between need and maybe someday, because obviously I don't need as many things, and definitely my maybe the someday list, I don't want to have that too long, but you know, it's always nice to have a spot for it. And then someday I will get faster at doing this, hopefully. But for now, I sort of found my trick of I need to turn the page to be able to get them going. And then I just leave a spot for the header so that I can fit the maybe someday header in and keep going with the needs. But anyway, you'll see all that. So now that I'm done with my every second line highlights for the other spread as well, I'm just going in and putting in the verticals for when I can tick things off. So I've got that on both sides. I'm going to go in with my headers. So for the spreads to try, this is just a spot where I can give myself some notes or ideas for yearly, quarterly, weekly, and reading journal ideas. So if I think of things throughout the year that I want to add in my next journal, like whether it's my next yearly setup or my next quarterly or my next weekly, I've got a spot for that in here, and I can just refer back to that when I need to. This is something that I would consider putting in like a long-term collection journal, but at the moment I don't have one of those, and I don't really have enough collections that I think warrants setting up a journal for that yet. Maybe someday. I like the idea of it. It's just the idea of having another journal at the moment, when I haven't proved my consistency in like a full year of bullet journaling, just seems to be a bit much, and I think that will start to overwhelm me if I try and do too much too soon. So I'm just putting in here for now, and I can always transfer it to a different journal at a later time. So I just got that space there. Moving on to the next spread, and this is going to be my content statistics spread. So for this one, I want to track my Books by Dano content. So that is my YouTube channel, my Instagram channel, and I have started a TikTok for it that I need to start posting some stuff, but that can be said about all my stuff. But I want to have a spot where I can track how it's doing, and not just how it's hopefully increasing, but also see the amount of content that I'm putting into it as well. So I want to track like each month how many videos did I release, or things like that too. So see how we go with that. But it's also not just for my Books by Dano content. I also have a business that I've got two businesses that I want to also track their social media statistics for. So I've got the studio, and that has a Facebook channel and an Instagram, as well as a fitness account, which has a Instagram and a YouTube that I'm tracking. And then also leaving some space for if I do decide to add any other aspects that I want to track. Just leaving space for that. So just going through, trying to put down the headers. I do a really terrible job of trying to make the headers look somewhat centered. I don't know, over the double spread, I feel like because of the size of the headers, I think I should have just put them all in closer to the center rather than trying to center them on each page. I don't think the centering on each page works. So it's just a thought for next time, and how I want to do that. But anyway, now I'm going in and putting in the second highlights for each of the months, and then a spot for the totals, and then trying to count. One day I'll get around to actually creating a grid ruler for my journals, but I haven't made one in the in the B5 size yet, because I haven't cut anything down in this size. So I definitely want to get onto that. I don't think I cut anything away from my reading journal either. That's the other one that I've got as a B5. I keep saying B6. It's not a B6. It's definitely a B5. Anyway, so I'm just going in with my every second highlights, trying to count it all out. And as I said, I do have 2 more spots left, I think. I can't actually remember what I put under the Books by Dano stuff. Maybe I just left that space blank. I guess we'll see together. So I'm going in with my black pen to draw out all the lines, and this is where I did realize I stuffed up on that one by drawing the vertical lines all the way down to where I wanted to have a totals area, but that's okay. That was one of the spare ones, I guess, so it didn't matter too much. It was just annoying because I haven't gone back in and fixed it yet. So anyway, but yeah, the columns are for, there's one box for the month, and then one for start, end, and sort of the direction, whether it's an increase or a decrease. So that's what they're all for. Going in and doing all the lines. I enjoy doing this aspect of the bullet journaling, and I love how peaceful it is to do, but I didn't realize how long it would take me to set all this up. So I think I'm watching a movie while doing this from memory. But it's definitely something that you can easily read or listen to an audiobook or something like that, or listen to a podcast while doing. So it was quite enjoyable, but it definitely did take a little while. And now I'm just going in with the headers for each of the areas that I had pre-planned. And then some of them I didn't have quite cut well enough. So the first one I'm putting in is, again, had to cut the head down, so Books by Dan on YouTube. So for future reference, I know I need to either leave myself more room for these headers or make the headers smaller. And because all my headers are very consistent in sizing, I think for future I will just make room to have a double line of headers or go out a little bit further with what I'm tracking. So anyway, I'm putting all those in. I've got 3 more to go. I clearly don't like doing things in order. I couldn't just go from left to right and do them all. I must have done whatever was closest to my hand at the time to get. But there's the TikTok that will hopefully actually have some content on it at some point. I think I've done one video. We'll see how we go. I like the idea of TikTok, but I'm always very scared to fall down that rabbit hole and get sucked in, because that is definitely my personality. Okay, on to cleaning up the edges, and then on to the next page. So for this one, I'm just thinking, I think I did do a cutaway. No, I didn't. Damn. Oh. On to my future me problem. Sorry, I was having a train of thought in my own head rather than saying it out loud. So, as I mentioned with the 101 things to do, I didn't want to make that list a task list. Like, it's not a chores list. That's what this page is for. So future me problems is for those tasks that I need to get done at some point. They just don't have a specific day or month that I need to get them done by, but they are more of those sort of chore tasks that I don't necessarily want to get done. I keep putting them off, but they need to get done. Some things like I need to buy some security cameras for my house or a doorbell. Those sorts of things, they go on the future me problems. So yes, that's the sort of difference, and that's how I'm going to try and separate the two. And I want to try and make it as clear as possible if that's how that's working. Yeah. So then I go in with my every second highlight and do the entire double page spread in every second highlights. And now for a flip through of my 2025 bullet journal. So skipping through to the cover page, we then go into my level 10 life goals area with a goal brainstorming section. We skip past the pages I have blank for goals. We then have then and now, a letter to myself, 101 things to do, my wish list and spreads to try area, then my content statistics, then my future me problems area. And that's it for this. I might add more through the year or just skip straight to 2026. But that's it. I will see you all next time. Bye.